Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel, back in our Card Fight Vanguard, Ezel and Vanity, Buku the videos. If you guys enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and switch we. This time we have a lot of good cards. We finally have the release of the new Leonor, who, as I was actually checking the slides, because I was just going through them out of curiosity, and normally when they called the names, or like when they're translated for the first time, they're wrong, but this time they actually called it right on the translation, that it would be called Leonor Vivace. But also, you know, we got the Unison dress along with it. We have a very good fucking Omino good Ezel card I can't wait to go over. And we have a handful of other cards. I'm going to start, shall we? First up, we have our colorful Brave Shooter, who I literally had to do a double take and make sure that this wasn't an Aurora Battle Princess card with the Stoic K of markings, because I straight up looked at this for a solid few seconds and just kept picturing like the newest grade 1 for Aurora Battle Princess. Anyways, grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base, auto rear guard. When it stands by your card's ability, you may soul charge 1. Cool. Not a mandatory soul charge if you don't want to use it, but the fact that it's just a free soul charge if you choose to by standing it is great. I'm trying to think though of like everything in Stoic K that like stands things, because what? There's Flagberg has that one grade 1 high rate, I think his name is, that can stand a rear guard. Griffogila can stand rear guards. Are those the only 2 cards in Stoic K that can stand rear guards? There has to be one more, I was forgetting about it, but I mean, it's not a horrible grade 1, so it's like a 1 over 2 if you want the soul. And then we have Guardian of Twilight Rio Guardia, probably my favorite of like the Griffogila support cards. A, because he's badass. B, he looks like Lionheart if Lionheart went to Zoo. And then 3, his skill's actually, in my opinion, the best, and I forgot to edit this. Anyways, grade 3 tempers off 30k base, 50k base actually. Continues, you cannot ride him or put him on a normal, or normal call him to a rear guard ejection marker on it. But if you superior call him, it will bypass that. And then use rear guard, he gets plus 2k for each of your ejection markers on your rear guard circles. And or to be more like each of your rear guard circles with Draco markers on them. That does not mean you get to count like 2 on 1 circle. It is for every 1 per circle, so don't try to cheat your way through that one. And then his last ability, my favorite part, continues rear guard during turn for every 5 cards your drop zone gets plus 2k power. The funny thing is, the day that this card was released, I was thinking, I wonder when they're going to release Skull Dragon in D, and lo and behold, he gets released just in a, you know, nerfed version. But I mean, you know, all around is pretty good. By the time the late game rolls around, he hits for pretty big numbers. I think he's just a very solid grade 3. I can't wait to test him out, and by test him out, I mean never use him and always fantasize about using him. 2 of copy. Then we have Pay Attention to Me, Trust, grade 1, 2 units at 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear guard. When your other unit attacks from the center back row, you may bounce this unit to your hand. That is such a specific skill, but okay. And then auto when it's put on guard circle, soul blast 1, and she gets plus 10k for this battle. Cool. She can value bouncing herself for free, so if your opponent's playing like a nuke deck and you don't want her to die, or you just want the extra 10k shield, you can keep her around. I just feel like this was kind of like an arbitrary skill that they chose to give it. Like, they could have given her anything else. I mean, don't get me wrong, the skills make sense for each other, but it just feels weird to have a card that can self-bounce and then get 10k shield, considering it's a grade 2 who they could just make the skill on intercept. But whatever, I guess. 2 of 3 of. It's not a bad grade 2, it just feels like it's weird that they gave the skill to a grade 2, not like a grade 1. Then we have Stealth Fiend Hito Rima, grade 2 into 5k shield, 8k base. This entire time I thought you were a grade 1. Okay, auto when it's placed on rear guard circle by soul charging 1, he can get plus 5k for the turn. No. That may be a free soul charge and it may make him a 13k base for the turn, but the fact that after that he's an 8k vanilla and it's a mandatory soul charge so it can deck you out faster, no. If you want to run this 2 of, I wouldn't recommend it. Then we have Nectar of Nutrition Cassandra, grade 2 units at 5k shield, 10k base, auto and retire from your rear guard to guard circle. If you have Vanguard Levehat Solstice S in its card name, you may soul charge 1. Cool. It benefits from being killed by your opponent or by your own means. It's a free, non-mandatory soul charge, but at the same time, it feels like, was this necessary? I feel like the deck gets enough soul as is, but I guess like that's a main phase soul charge, or it can be done during the battle phase, so it's not a horrible grade 2, but in my opinion, it's not good either. It's the same as this. Like, if you choose to run, it's a 2 of, but no more, no less. Then we have Encounter with Deliciousness Hizumi, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard when she boosts. If your Vanguard meets you in its card name, if your Vanguard meets you in its card name attacked during this turn, soul charge 1 until end of battle, it gets plus 5k power. Cool, so it's a 13k booster, it gets you a free soul. Downside is, again, that soul charge is mandatory, and I don't like mandatory soul charges because I know they can lead to deck out. Have I ever been decked out by a soul charge ability? No. Have I come extremely close to it and and panicked like hell? Yes, and I don't like taking those chances. So 2/3. I say that, and yet I call 2 PGs willingly at the very start of the game just to prove an argument of point, and then I win off that. I don't make sense, even to myself. Then we have my only precious thing, Milagross, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base, auto when placed on rearguard circle. If you have Vanguard, meet you in its card name by putting a hand card into your soul, choose a cannonball from your drop zone and put it to your hand, and if there are 3 or more face down cards you damage zone you have not countercharged yet this turn, countercharge 1. So cool, it can up soul for Michu, who I never really personally felt like it was a problem, except for on rare occasions, and if you don't remember, when I first played Michu, I always upped the soul blast count by 1, so I was playing it wrong by paying extra cost, and I still didn't have a soul blast problem, but this fixes any soul blast problems you do have. Not to mention it can recycle cannonballs and possibly even get you CC if you're running into CB problems, and then continues rear guard if a card was placed from your order zone into your drop zone this turn, it gets plus 10k power. Cool. 20k base, not horrible, plus with Michu's extra 5k skill and possible persona rise, we're looking at 35k without triggers. All around, Milagross is a very solid grade 2. I like her effect a lot. Again, I was overpaying for Michu and I still wasn't having problems with soul, but I mean, hey, if you did have problems with soul for some arbitrary reason, here's your out to it. That is something I just love to constantly say. I didn't have problems with the card that I was actively paying more for just because I didn't understand how the card worked. Then we have what I've been looking forward to is the stage Murmus, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard at the end of the battle so that she boosted is not, actually no, yeah, it is at the end of the battle that she attacked, not boosted. If you have 5 or more curse play cards in your soul, by retiring this unit, you have to 2 curse plays from your soul and add them to your hand. Cool. So I don't like this card because A, requires it to die, and then B, like, I don't like needing to, I feel like you don't need to reuse your curse play, especially because, again, mandatory soul charge. The Blitz order one, sure. The other one, not so much. And by the time I actually get to the point of the game where she would actually be useful to me, that's typically where if I take out a card in soul and I don't immediately get it right back, I might be screwing myself over. So, and also because I could be decking myself out. So, Murmus is not a horrible grade 1, but basically with the games I played with it, by the time I would get to use her, it's not worth it. So, 2 up for me. Then we have Latili Lollipop Miriam. I know this card's effect is good, but like it has yet to prove to me why I should run it. Grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base, auto and placed on rearguard circle. If you have Vanguard Lutetia in its card name, by discarding 1, check top 7 for up to 2 curse plays from among them, add them to your hand and shuffle your deck. Okay, that's good. It can possibly turn 1 card into 2. I don't like this card because every single time I've used that effect, I have whiffed. There have been games where I've straight up had 7 of the 8 orders, because the last one's in hand because I searched with the grade 1. I've had 7 of the 8 still in deck and I've played 2 of these. That's a top 14 search in total. And I whiffed both times. In the entire games that I have used Miriam, only 1 of them has given me an order. And it's specifically a order, not 2, 1. In all the attempts I've used Miriam, she has only procced off 1 order. And all those times, majority is like, I have more than half the orders left in deck. At most, 2 have left the deck. I don't know why she doesn't work. And the only times I think that at this point, the only reason I'm still running her is because I have reasons to say I have a new Lutetia deck. And then continues rearguard if you put a curse play this turn, she gets boost. I don't need this ability because my deck makes rearguard easily, but I mean, it's nice to have in the late game. But yeah, this ability, it's good, just only when it works, which is why I'm tempted to scrap her. Then we have Ringing Dragon by Varcarpus, grade 3, 10%, 13k base, auto when placed on rearguard to guard circle, choose up to 1 grade 4 from your hand, reveal it. If you reveal a card or your Vanguard's a grade 4, perform one of the following according to the circles it's on. Rearguard, choose an opponent's rearguard, murder it, and it gets plus 5k for the turn, and then guard circle gets plus 15k shield for the battle, and then auto when it's a card from your hand for the cost of stride or riding a grade 3 from the ride deck, you get to draw a card. All around pretty solid because that's either a free draw when discard it for ride deck or stride to replace itself, but it also can kill rearguards and get numbers, and it's a 15k shield. All around nice to have. Not a horrible grade 3, not an amazing grade 3 because I typically don't like these, especially because Sky Risen looked like such a beautiful grade 3 and they fucking wasted it on a card like this. But I mean, hey, it's an okay card, so 2 of 3 of. Then we have thing that I feel like Bushy knew what they were doing, because I remember the DM that was sent in Discord was and this was like more or less a copy and pasted message from like Bushy Road's Twitter or whatever is that, like, for all you Takikaze players, watch for this new grade 3 reveal on Thursday. And yeah, I mean, I think they knew that they fucked over Takis and Zero, so they're like, let's give them a new grade 3 finally. I wish this was a triple rare, but I mean, hey, I'll take it as a promo. Steel Dragon Spino Maki. Grade 3 Trampers 13k base, auto when placed on Vanguard Circle, get top 7. Come to 2 down dragons, run them to rear guard and shuffle your deck. Cool. That is a free top 7 search. Doesn't matter when placed from Ride Deck, Vanguard, nothing. Top 7 search, calling you 2 down dragons. See, the first thing was, when I first saw this thing get revealed, I genuinely did not believe there was enough Dino Dragons to make a cohesive deck. With this card, no, there's enough. Just not Ride Deck-wise, because Bushy's very, what's it called? Very sensitive with giving cards Ride Deck skills, apparently. But no, there are plenty of Dino Dragons to make a very consistent deck with this. And then his second ability is Auto Vanguard. When he attacks a Vanguard by counterbusting one and retiring one of your Dino Dragon Vanguards, draw a card, it gets plus 10k for the battle, and then you can call up to 1 Dino Dragon card from your hand to rear guard, and then you can retire all your opponent's rear guards the same column as that call unit. So that's a guaranteed free draw and plus 10, and then if you want to call something, you murder a column. Now here's where I love this card's ability. It can call any 2 Dino Dragons regardless of grade and name, meaning you can call 2 copies of the same card. You want to know what I did the first game I played this card? I called 2 Tri-Bashes. You know what I did when I attacked? I used double Tri-Bash. On first grade 3 turn, this mofo was a 23k triple critical beat stick to an opponent that only had a 15k guard in hand and 2 damage. They guarded, and they were right to guard so because I didn't pull a single trigger. Let's think about that for a second. 3 damage could have been done if I just saw 1 trigger, or they just chose to take it. Spinal Marquee, baby. Never doubt the power of that grade 3 and abusable Tri-Bash, because this thing can kill a column, so Tri-Bash automatically becomes target. Then we have Stealth Fiend Shenry, Great Own Boost 5k Shield, AK Base, Auto Rear Guard when she boosts. If your opponent has one of those rear guards or you put in order this turn, she gets plus 5k power for the battle, and at the end of that battle, you may put her to soul to draw a card. All around pretty solid because she can be a 13k base, and it is not a mandatory center to soul skill, but if you want to, you can end up adding a draw to that, and I think it works really well, especially for Sojo Doji because it still fits the stealth theme, and it goes to soul, like I said, and it gets that draw. All right, and I like her art too. I don't know why I see this as like flaming apples that she's juggling in like the middle of a red moon. Either way, though, very solid grade 1. I like her skill. I like her art. Nice 2 up to 3 of copies for me. Then we have Steam Fighter Cruisered. Cursed, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base, auto rear guard when she attacks a Vanguard by counterblasting 1, choose an opponent's Vanguard, and for every 2 of its grades, you soul charge 1, soul charge 2 if it's grade 4. I don't know why they felt like it was necessary to explain, like, that, like, specifying the higher grade, but okay. Anyways, why? Because, like, unless you're playing against Griff, the max you're gonna hit is probably Soul Charge 1, unless you're playing against a grade 4 deck, which is possible, so Soul Charge 2, but, like, I don't know, I feel like there are better cards that Soul Charge for free, and also don't require you to attack into a Vanguard, so you can do it during the main phase, but whatever. Not a horrible grade 2, not an amazing grade 2, 2 of flat. And then we have, of course, everyone's getting this. I'm actually disappointed by this one, because for those that don't know, I actually hate Brainwash World just because when it first came out, I saw it everywhere. And for those of you that don't know, the reason why I hate generic cards so much, or not necessarily generic cards, but the reason why I stick to, I guess better ways, archetypal builds, because I hate seeing cards overused, and generic cards, as much as I like a lot of them, I hate seeing them just get used so much every time. Like, I remember when Brainwash first came out, every single Dark States video I saw that wasn't my own because of my standard, well, not standard, but, you know, because of my personal rule, had fucking Brainwash, and I got so sick of that grade 1. Not because I thought it was broken, I just thought it was annoying to see it. So when I saw this card in this art, I was like, you know what, I may not like him, but I like this art, and then I saw that they gave it this generic skill, and I was kind of peeved off by that. Anyways, Mind Break, grade 2 Blitz order if you have 5 or more soul. Choosing you being attacked, it gets plus 50k for the battle, and then if your opponent's Vanguard's was placed by a card ability, the strength gets plus 30 instead of plus 15. Again, it's not horrible, but I felt like this didn't deserve, as much as I hate Brainwash just because of how often I saw him when he was first released, I don't think he deserved the treatment of let's make him a generic order, especially because with that badass art. So, I mean, 1 of 2 of, that's all I can say. Then we have Guide to the Festival, Pelagia. Create 5k shield, 9k base, continuous guard circle. If you have played a Blitz order this turn, she gives 10k shield. Okay, I love that. Great card, or not great cards. Cards being able to increase shield value based off of playing other cards that typically give shield value. So all around, Pelagia is not a bad grade 2. I don't think I'm going to run her, but if I do choose to run a card that would have more shield value, I'd probably run her as a 2 because she benefits a lot from Blitz orders. Then we have Unsealable Exterior. And, believe it or not, we got these on the same day. Anyways, grade 2 Blitz order if you have 3 or more rear guards. That is a straight up Felty Rosa card. I'm now realizing where I've seen this art before. That is a Felty Rosa grade 1 with different hair color and a Halloween background. Prove me wrong. Oh, wait, no, it's not a grade 1. It might be a grade... No, yeah, it is a grade 1. The one that gets 2k and something at the bottom. I'm willing to bet that right now. That's what that grade 1 is. Anyways, Blitz order play if you have 3 or more cards in your rear guard circles. Choose a unit being attacked with 50k for the battle, and if your opponent's vanguard is placed by your card's ability, it gets plus 30k instead of 15. Again, not horrible. I do like this one more just because, most Dark State line have a way of soul charging, and also you have a guaranteed 3 free cards and souls by playing the game, the ride deck alone. So, I mean, I feel like that's easier than this one, especially because against, board nuke decks, this just gets shut down by 3 kills, or maybe even less, depending if you had a full board or not. And then Mind Break over here, well, there's no cards that eliminate soul cards yet in the game. But should do that in one next, please. But, yeah, no, it's not horrible, but it's kind of 50-50. Again, 2 copies. Then we have Match de Fleur, Leonor Vivace. So, she is probably the only card in a while or in general, that I have had the genuine what the fuck reaction to. Because when I saw this in the anime, I truly, my jaw dropped. And then I realized what its skill actually does. And I was like, okay, it's not as broken. It just seems really fucking broken. So... Grade 3, 29%, 13k base, Unison Dress, I'm assuming Full Blast, which we'll get later this week, or technically next week when I do the video, and maybe even the new Virena will eventually have. Auto when they're placed by writing from a unit of Leonor in its different card name from this unit, or unit in the Unison Dress state, draw a card and it gets Unison Dress state during this fight. So the important thing to note is, if you ride this on top of... You could run this in the ride deck, but if you did, this entire thing would be a vanilla because it has to ride from a different named Leonor or another copy of this technically that is already in the Unison Dress state or another card that's in the Unison Dress state. And this ability requires it to be in the Unison Dress state, so you can't just outright run this in the ride deck, which is why I'm kind of disappointed, but I'm also seeing a skill I don't really mind. And then this other thing, the thing that made my jaw drop, and I'll just highlight the part that made me do that, Auto Vanguard, hard ones per turn, thank the heavens. When this unit in the Unison Dress state attacks while not being boosted, stand all of your rear guards and boost with them. And just to skip ahead a little bit, you can boost with rear guards that don't have boost as well. And then, if you boost it with 3 or more units at the same time, at the end of that battle, counterblast 1, choose 3 of your units and stand them and they get plus 5k and lose a drive until end of turn. Okay, here's the important thing to know about this. Let's just stop it at this sentence right here. Stand the entirety of your rear guard and boost with them. The lowest number I've hit with this, without any triggers, bullshit, anything. Just normal skills that my Leonor deck has. I have gone from consistently hitting about 63 to 96 at the least. And then one game I hit 100. And that game I just did it to flex. Bullshit. And then, it's not even a mandatory stand the Vanguard. It's stand any 3 units. Hell, you want to withstand a column and then your other rear guard in the front row? Go for it. You want to withstand the Vanguard, even though it's probably only going to be an 18k base? Go for it. The fact that this thing can get multi-attack, Leonor has gone from... Here are the stages of Leonor, by the way, and I've been waiting to say this for a while. Leonor went from just a deck that had a really big Vanguard and decently big rear guards with triple drive, to a deck that had all that, but also had 4 attacks thanks to Resonance Dragon, then went to a deck that had, in my opinion, shitty rearguard swings, but still a big Vanguard, but now has 5 attacks thanks to Leonor Vasquez, to having 6 attacks with a Vivace, really big Vanguard number, and decent rearguard swings, and possibly even 7 attacks if you had a Resonance Dragon on board. Bullshit. Vivace is amazing. Vivace is just amazing. That's a solid card, and I honestly can't wait to see what Youth Perk does. I'm not kidding you. That, when Urara stood her entire board, that is either the first time in all of Overdress my jaw legitimately dropped, or the first time in a long time. As in, the only other time I can think of it happening was in season 1 because of one specific moment. So I mean, like that's jaw drop right there. Oh wait, no, not season 1, season 2, because that was Yu Yu's speech to Shinobu. Anyways, cool card. Then we have our new Galactic B Heroes. I'm not joking with you. When I was looking at these cards earlier, I described to myself what I was going to say in my Ezel and Vanity, and the words come out as the exact words I'm about to say now. I forgot this was a deck. That is how shitty, in my opinion, Overdress's quote-unquote archetype handling works. The fact that I have forgotten this, like, archetype existed, and I looked at this archetype 2 weeks ago. I'm not kidding with you. Like, they just... I would rather have the clan system, because at least when they did an archetype, they consistently supported it, compared to here, where they're now running into that clan system problem, except archetypes kind of get fucked over, mostly. And again, with the Ride deck existing, kind of feels like an FU to most decks. Anyways, Galactic B Hero Amas Dania. Great 10-5k shield, 10k base. Okay, honestly though, she does look cool. I don't know who she reminds me of. She just reminds me of someone. Anyways, auto when placed on rearguard circle. If you have Vanguard with B Hero in its card name and you do not place a base card into your order zone during this turn, by soul blasting one and ditching one, search your deck for one base card, put it to your order zone and shuffle your deck. Here's the important part about this card. The second you get to grade 2, and the grade 1 gets you a base, you play this. You play an order from your deck, and then you play the one you searched from grade 1. It took them, what, 7 sets to finally give us a card like this. That's what I mean by Bush kind of fucks over the archetypes, because, Opart, the Freiheit guy for Wellstreet came out in, was that, set 11 or set 10? Or beforehand? If it came out before set 10, then we have problems, but cool. And then auto rearguard, damn about it attacked. If you have a Vanguard B Hero in its card name and 3 or more cards base in your 3 or more bases in your order zone, and this hits 2 of them, thankfully. Counterbots want to retire this unit to choose one of your scouted cards and call it to rearguard. The best part about this was, this doesn't have to be boosted. Meaning, if you have enough CB and enough copies in base, you can just keep spamming them for multi-attack. And with the Vanguard that gives your front row 5k, that's pretty damn good. So, instead of maybe Amos Darnia, maybe Amos Damia. So, yeah, 4L. It's a very good card. It's cost efficient. It searches bases. It guarantees you 2 of them just by getting to grade 2. It's pretty solid, so 4 of. Then we have Galactic B Hero Varcarpus. I was waiting for us to get a grade 3. Grade 3, 200% 13k base. I honestly love his art. Auto rearguard at the end of your turn. Scout this card and 1 B Hero card from your hand into your base in order to draw a card and choose 1 base from your order zone and stand it. So basically, get the joke. Okay, I'll leave now. Anyways, you rest one of your bases during your turn, get rear guards, then at the end of that turn, you add more cards to your base for guardian power or resources or calling stuff for next turn, and then you get to draw cards to replace that card, and you get to restand that base for guardian power. So, my round Varcarpus is a very pretty solid grade 3. I like his skill. While he himself doesn't have shield value, he ends up giving your deck overall more defensive power, because again, allows you to still call stuff with the bases, but then stand them at the end of the turn so they can act as guardians. So 4 Varcarpus. Very solid grade 3. I like his skill. I think he's good, and he fills up the base. Then we have Spotted Age Attention Curlin. Grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. I don't know why her art looks so, Prompus isn't the word, but, it's, just good looking, I guess. But for some reason, Prompus is the word coming to my mind. Anyways, continues rearguard. If there's any face-up card in your red deck with the same name as your Vanguard, gives 10k power. Active on both players' turns. Cool. 20k. Not bad. You know what's starting to make me think that Bushy is going to start, because none of these cards that specify ride decks, I mean, some of them specify grade 3s, but some of them don't specify grades. Something tells me at some point, people are going to start running copies of even vanillas that don't have rearguard skills in their ride deck in their main deck, just so that they can early game rush with 20k beat sticks. Something tells me that's the day we're going to get to that. Normally I don't care about competitive meta, but if that actually starts happening, can someone tell me? Because I actually want to see if it fucking happens. I'll be damned curious if it does. Cool. 2 of 3 of it has given me an interest for once in competitive, just to see if that fucking happens.
And let's go over our last few cards for the day. First up, we have Red Eye of Governing Ruler Lindiclia. Great 5k shield, 10k base. Auto, which is placed on the rearguard circle. If you have Vanguard of Masquez and its card name by counterpassing 1, you get to check the top 5 card of your deck. Choose a 1 grade 3 less unit card with a different card name from this unit from on them, call it to rearguard circle and shuffle the deck. Then you can choose a trigger card from your drop zone and bind it. All around, very solid ability because it works with any mask from Dark State, so you can use it with Greedon if you wanted to. That was kind of like a 50-50 because, I could technically call out the Desire Devil's not one herself, so it's like 50-50. But also you can use it in I'm gonna go to Ezio, which would, would want more triggers to be bound, or you could use this in Estrella, but in my personal opinion, I feel like it would be better if it just required you not to go to a thing that had a mask cast, but then it'd be a little bit too broken because that's like a system top 5 searcher, so fair enough, fair enough. And then continues rear guard during turn if your bind zone has 3 or more triggers bound, it gets plus 10k power. So cool. 20k base, very easy to hit that on Godizio because now Omino Godizio can have all 5 triggers bound on the second grade 3 turn, which is nice to have. Technically speaking, you can have all of them bound on first grade 3 turn if you have enough CB for it, so that's nice to have. And again, it can work for other decks such as Greedon and Astraeo and any other mask has decks they use. But I like how they made a really solid generic grade 2. I want to run this in Astraeo though, and the thing is, I don't like going to the mask has in Astraeo, so it's kind of 50-50 for me, but a nice 4 of copies. Then we have Progressing Promise and Lazia, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. I don't know why when I first looked at this card without even seeing his name, I was like, its name has to do something with pomegranate. I don't know why. But I was right that it had something to do with PR. Anyways, continues rear guard to guard circle. If your Vanguard is in the Unidress state, it cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, and it gets plus 10k power and 10k shield. I don't for players' turns. Okay, so in my opinion, this is a worse version than all the cards that, what's it called? All the Maskhead support cards that we got, all those grade 2s that require the specific named Maskhead unit, because at least those were technically accessible on first grade 3 turns, and you could use Maskhead for Hydra Gum if you didn't get the Persona Ride. This one, on the other hand, currently Unison Dress is only available at turn 4, so this thing's a vanilla in turn 4, which can kind of cost you the game. But I mean, once you get there, hey, it's a 20k base and a 15k shield, and when you're restanding your board to get a fuck ton of boosters, thanks to Vivace over here, is pretty solid. So I would say, if you have the space for it, run it as a 2 of tech, but I wouldn't go further than that just because, again, you have to get to Unison Dress first. Then finally we have Rhythm of Joy Atlantis, grade 1 boost, 5k shoot, 8k base. The card I'm not going to go shove into Leonor. Continues rear guard during turn if your Vanguard has Leonor's Carnage, is a plus 2k. And if your Vanguard is in the Unidress state, it gets plus 5k instead of 2k. Cool, I love how that ability is it's a guaranteed 10k on any Leonor, and then it becomes a 15k base if you are on Unison Just State, so better rear guard swinger for worst case scenario type of games, but also just a 15k booster is nice to have. And then auto rear guard at the end of your turn, if the Vanguard is boosted a total 3 or more times this turn, retire this unit to draw a card, and then if your damage zone has no face of cards, countercharge 1. Cool, because with the deck I built running all 3 Leonorns, for some reason, even though that deck has, I think, less CB problems than my other... No, it might have more. Okay, point is, being able to retire herself to countercharge 1 is nice, but also guaranteed you're getting that free draw. But granted it only gets you that countercharge if you have no face-up damage, but hey, considering you can just start ramming your counterblast in one go, it's pretty nice so you can get it back for free. And again, her being a 10k base on any lean one and possibly 15k base when you're on Use Trust is nice to have. So 4 of Atlantis, or Elentis, either way, very solid grade 1, and I love her art. So without further ado, I'm going to end this one here. I hope you guys enjoy. Next time, we get new Youthberg, and possibly new cards for Astraeo. So see you all then. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, just follow the Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.